Good morning and welcome to your daily morning horoscope for Tuesday, May 6th, 2025, Aries. You may be privy to some important knowledge, perhaps an article that gives you impetus you need to invest in a promising stock. Perhaps you learn from a famous person to go in town and give a lecture. If your heart starts to race the minute you hear the news, this should be all the motivation you need to take the next step. Good things are bound to come your way if you do them. Taurus. A visit to a local museum or art gallery may move you to tears. Suddenly, you're aware of all the beauty around you and inspired to create some original works of your own. You do have a strong creative bent, so why not see how you can take your talent far? If possible, spend the evening surrounded by your loved ones, and please don't ever forget the arts. Gemini. There are no half measures today. You feel every emotion to the 10th degree. This could make for an intense day. Make efforts to calm down rather than inject your opinion into every conversation. Make it a point to step away from the group. The talk is animated enough without you stirring up anything further. Spend the evening with loved ones. They will be more tolerant of your mood. Cancer. You're likely feeling a desire to do something different and a little crazy. Today you may fulfill that desire by attending a group event, perhaps a concert, or you could indulge in a childhood fantasy and go to the circus. Whatever you do, take along the special someone in your life. The fun you're bound to have will be so much sweeter when shared with a loved one. Leo, you have many talents. Today's astral energy indicates that your abilities will be rewarded. Congratulations! You've certainly worked long and hard to achieve your goals. Why not make plans to celebrate? Call some friends or your partner for an impromptu get-together. You can meet at the local bistro and bask in the happy energy of success. Virgo, you're likely gorgeous today and have likely noticed the admiring glances you've received. Your passion is running high and you may be able to spend this evening with a special someone. Fulfill your romantic fantasies. Light candles, use your best china and dress with sensuality in mind. Your partner will appreciate the effort that you're bound to have a wonderful evening. Libra, this could be your lucky day, especially in matters of the heart. You may feel particularly close to your special someone as well as others in your immediate circle of friends. This is due to part of the planetary configuration. It shows your intuition and optimism running high. Use this to your advantage, especially if you have to sell something. Keep your expectations realistic. Scorpio, try not to do everything all at once today. Your social life is heating up and you may be in a frenzy preparing for all the gatherings you've been invited to. All this on top of your regular workload could send you into a tailspin. Pace yourself. Get your work done first before thinking about your social life. Remember, if you were unemployed, you wouldn't be able to go out at all. Sagittarius, it looks like your ship is about to come in. The day indicates that you can expect additional financial resources, perhaps a raise. You deserve it. You've been working long and hard these past several months. You've earned the respect of authority figures and the admiration of peers. Be careful not to fritter away the extra money. Put some aside for a rainy day. Capricorn, take extra care with your appearance today and clean the house a bit this morning. You may have some visitors. Invite them in and make them comfortable. It's likely that they can be of great benefit to furthering your career. Perhaps one of them is well connected in a company you've long wanted to work for, or maybe you will get an interesting stock tip, so stay alert. Aquarius, you may feel wanderlust and crave something new and different in your life. You just can't help but be a bit bored by the dullness of the routine. If adventure is what you want, why not plan an exotic trip? Even if you don't have the money now, you can still start doing some research. Just knowing that you're going to go someday will help raise your spirits. Pisces, keep your eyes and ears open today. You may receive some important information on specific ways to increase your income. This is just one of the many wonderful things bound to happen to you. You're looking great and people are responding to your warm, pleasant manner. Bask in the glow of all the goodwill surrounding you, because it won't last forever. This has been your daily morning horoscope for Tuesday, 6th May 2025. Do have yourself a great day.
Beautiful, magnificent, fantastic, all the good words I have to offer. Good morning to you, my DBS family. How y'all doing? Y'all doing good? All right. It is Tuesday. We're almost there, guys. Almost there. Anyways, pleasant good morning to each and every one of you. Hope you're having a fantastic morning so far. I hope you just watched and did something in flow and move with Trevor Lawrence. Anyways, guys, we have a jam-packed program this morning. Some very good, interesting stuff. But before we get there, we got to check in with the news desk. Let's see what they have to say. We'll be right back.
Good morning. Time now for the news. With me, Timothy Polio. Mounting financial concerns have prompted the St. Lucia Civil Service Association to convene an emergency meeting as members demand accountability and a forensic audit of the union's finances. The head of the union warns that the lack of audited reports over several years has left the organization vulnerable and unable to access crucial funding.
Without financial reports or audited reports, we faced a lot of challenges. Meaning, the Labour Act states that all trade unions must present their financial audited accounts to the Registrar of Trade Unions, who sits in the Labour Department. That has not happened. And that can have implications for us, because if we go against the law, CSA can be decertified as a union.
In other news, the island's Commerce Minister has addressed claims of price gouging of period products with a promise to look into the matter. This comes amidst public discussions about period poverty and controversial statements regarding government's proposal to provide an annual allowance of $250,000 for the purchase of feminine hygiene products for secondary school students.
When a mother on a morning, and this morning I saw a few mothers, and there were mothers with 7 children, and I call them powerful, some of the most powerful women that I come across. And on a morning with a daughter experiencing her period, she doesn't have the money to send all of them to go to buy certain things. So she'll say, Timai paile kojodia, quitter ces les autres semaines, I acheté ça plutôt, go and buy food instead, and not to buy Metro. Always. It's about $32, right? She would need to make a decision on it.
The St. Lucia Fire Service has been responding to several emergencies which warranted a response over the last few days. The first one occurred on Thursday evening at about 9:14. It took the form of a Rodney Bay collision involving 2 motor vehicles.
5 persons were found to be involved in the incident. An assessment revealed that 1 person sustained minor facial trauma and 4 persons with complaints of body pain. Amongst them, a minor aged 7. They were all treated, then transported to a medical facility for advanced medical care.
And as the news, thank you so much for watching. It's a very safe and enjoyable Tuesday. Join us at noon for our next News Major, the Lunchtime Report. I'm Timothy Polio. Good morning.
Of course, thanks, News Desk. Stick around. We're going to be right back, all right? This is DBS This Morning. Back, DBS family. Of course, you guys know we sent out our team at Carifta, and this year they did a remarkable job, securing us so many medals and really outdoing themselves at the end of the day. We tapped in with the president of the Athletics Association, Dora Henry, to get a word with her to talk about this amazing progress. Welcome back, DBS family. Now, in this segment, if you see this face, this very familiar face, should be very familiar, then you know we're here to talk about everything sports in St. Lucia. Dora Henry is here first. How are you doing this morning?
I am fine. I'm doing very well this morning.
Excellent. So, we're here to talk about in the capacity of Carifta. Because we know we sent out a full-fledged team out there, and they did incredibly well this time in Carifta. So, we're here to talk about that. First of all, how do you feel, Madam President, about their performance?
Oh, a bit overwhelmed, but elated. Really happy on our performance. This year we had the biggest contingent out for Carifta Games. Actually, we started off with 22 athletes, but due to injury by one of our athletes, Naomi London, we went out with 21, Port of Spain, Trinidad.
Excellent. Now, guys, I'm not much of the sports guy, so I have to make sure I take my notes down for this one. I look I'm correct. All right. So, of course, we all know JD Emmanuel. All right. And an excellent performance. They're securing 2 gold. Am I correct?
Definitely 2 gold in sprints. First ever for St. Lucia in the 100 and 200 meters. JD brought home the gold for us, and this was a very notable achievement. I mean, this was JD led the charge with the medals, and that's why we are placed 6 on the medal table. Beating countries like maybe not Barbados and these other countries, but really notable achievement for JD Emmanuel, young 16-year-old JD Emmanuel, our sprint sensation.
Now we'll come back to JD just in a minute. All right, guys. Also with Naya Jules. Now, I personally have been watching Naya's journey for a while because Naya also partakes in a pageant not so long ago as well. So seeing the full holistic development she's at is incredible to watch.
Yes, Naya Jules is one of our very own. I mean, she's not based in St. Lucia now. She's studying in Kansas, but Naya has led the charge for pole vault, and she also dipped into javelin as well. Naya was our record holder for 2 years for pole vault, and this year she placed second, a silver medal in pole vault, clearing 3 meters. So again, a good achievement by Naya Jules. The hope is that we continue to do well in pole vault because, as you maybe would have realized, that not many countries dip into pole vault, but in St. Lucia, I mean, it's one of the events that we are doing well in, and Naya has brought home that silver medal for us.
Talking further about the sports now, how would you see in terms of the development or the growing of sports in St. Lucia, not just amongst the young athletes, but from maybe even a corporate standpoint, a government standpoint, these areas, how can we see now the growing, the evolution of sports in St. Lucia as of recent?
Well, after the Olympics, persons I'm now more into the athletics. I cannot speak to the other sports, but athletics in particular, there's this big momentum and a big hype. The hope is that more of corporate St. Lucia give back and support us. As you know, the funding and financials is what is necessary to ensure that we participate in those events, especially our regional and international and even our local events, because putting on a meet, it's not cheap. It would cost us thousands of dollars for things like transportation and tents and meals for officials and all of that. The logistics, it is quite costly. But since after Olympics, we've had a few corporate sponsors who have reached out to us to pledge their support, not as much as we would want to, but hopefully we are hopeful that it will grow and more of St. Lucia, not just indicating that they would give back, but would actually give back, because some persons would have shared that they would help, but persons have not reached out. Many of them have not reached out financially. But I just want to say thank you to the few corporate persons who, especially for the Carifta Games, reached out to us and assisted us in that regard.
What are some of the ways, because now I'm sure pretty some corporate heads might be watching, what are some of the ways in which that if they to think, okay, me putting in this investment, I'm guessing it's mainly for developmental stages of these athletes. And what are some of the ways that these athletes can go for development? What are some of the projects and stuff that we can create now for these athletes here back at home?
Well, the athletes in particular need psychological support. It's not just about participating in events, but the full and holistic person. I mean, in addition to not only the psychological support, but they need paraphernalia, the gear, because you would imagine that sometimes you have athletes and you think they have a simple thing like a shoe, a track shoe, and some don't have even that. I mean, it can affect because we have grown beyond the stage of running barefoot. The athletes need the gear to participate in the event. So your track shoes, your uniforms, all of that, your psychological support, nutrition and diet, and all of those things is needed. We need help for that. The athletes in particular need help for that as well.
And finally, just to wrap up with this last question. Of course, we know that Juju winning her medal, like you said, has created that momentum, that push for athletics in St. Lucia. Can you say now we're heading now in a really good path, or is there still a lot of work to be done?
We are heading in a good direction, but there is still a lot of work to be done. I mean, as you know, we do not have a proper, full fledged stadium. Our George Odlum Stadium is in need of repair. I mean, we have the super mini stadium, but I would want us to ensure that we have the facilities so our athletes can thrive, because we need our athletes to have a proper stadium to run. It's not just about the super million stadium. I mean, we cannot even have all our field events at that stadium. So we use both stadiums, even if the track at the George Ormond Stadium is not in proper shape, but we use it for our field events. But there's a lot of work to be done. I mean, with Carifta and JD and our other athletes like Destiny Snack, who started the high jump just only a few months ago. She has medals, so that's to show you what could be done. And right here, we do, in addition to not having the facilities, but we have some good coaches who work with our athletes. So that's just to show you what could be done. But we need all the help, we need the expertise, we need volunteers, officials to assist us with leading our sport. So it is not just there. The momentum, it has been built because of Olympics and even before that, but we do have a lot of work to do. So St. Lucia, come out, help us. We need the financial support and we also need your expertise. You could reach out to us, Athletics Association, whether you reach out to myself or any of our executive members, and our email address is lca@mf.worldathletics.org.
Thank you so much for having a chat with us this morning, though. Hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. Corporate solution to anyone out there who can't give that helping hand to support our country in athletics, please do so as much as possible. Stick with us. It's Deep this morning. We'll be right back. We are now acknowledging Men's Mental Health Month right here in the month of May. And who better to speak on this than, of course, the pleasure is all mine of my big sister, Antonia Joseph, principal of Donato School, to chime in on this. Let's see what she has to say. Of course, in the show, we're here. And let me introduce my younger sister, Antonia Joseph. Okay, all jokes aside, of course, we're acknowledging right here Men's Mental Health Month. And of course, we want to take a different side of it at this point. And this is why Antonia is here right now, principal of Donato School, to discuss this aspect and tie in as to special needs and the way they can be incorporated and be highlighted into this whole aspect. Thanks for joining us this morning, Antonia. How are you feeling?
I'm feeling good.
Excellent. So, men's mental health. It's a side of things that often gets a bit shadowed. As a man myself, I could say, right? But it does need its due diligence and importance at the end of the day. When it comes to the world of special needs, how can we then speak, or how can we then dive into that a bit? Because I mean, special needs is one aspect by itself,
Right.
and the male side of it may have a bit more of its own obstacles, its own way of dealing with these things. How do we go about it?
Okay. Mental health is an issue with special needs in general. Right? Individuals with special needs, of course, they are more inclined to face more social isolation. They are more inclined to face more health issues. And especially when they transition from school, a place where they feel, a sense of belonging, a sense of purpose, and they transition to the world out there, there might be a time in which they cannot, as we say, catch their bearings, to find out their purpose, to be, contributing members of society, to have a place where they can interact with their peers without facing discrimination, etc. And because of that, individuals with disabilities on a whole, they are more susceptible to facing mental health issues. Now, in the world of special needs, we have more males, more boys, more young men, who are who represent the population as opposed to females. Like in this case of Donato School, our ratio is 1 to 2 For every one female, we have 2 males with any disability that we have here. So naturally, if they are going to transition, or naturally, if there are issues with mental health, you'll find the males with special needs, males with disabilities, more inclined to having, mental health issues as opposed to, our females.
So then, okay. It says being the. In fact, why would you even think that's the case in the first place? There being more males than females. Is it something in terms of a genetics thing or something else? So how?
Well, it's just when it comes to the prevalence of any disability that you look at, males are more susceptible to having any disability as opposed to females.
Okay. All right. Interesting. When it comes to now, because we did have a conversation prior and so on, you mentioned an aspect as to when the males do leave school and they go out into the world of work and so on, them not having the guidance of a school, teachers and so forth. How do they pan out now in the world of work and in the larger world?
Well, it's very difficult. I can speak for my school. We have a lot of those past students. They come back to the school. They come in, they spend a day, because that is where they get the support of teachers, the support of adults, as well as that sense of belonging. We are not yet in a society where, okay, you go through education and there is something or some policy which enables you to find a job. We do not have any place where individuals with disabilities can just go to recreate, no after-school programs. There's a lot that is still needed. And you find a lot of that responsibility being placed on the home, the family, to provide that safe space, for those individuals. But still in providing that safe space in home, it still keeps them socially isolated, So we try to do what we can here, and we do not turn anybody away because we are aware, that if we still do not keep our doors sort of open and provide some, limited support as much as we can, because we do have a school of supporting students that are coming here, they can be inclined to, depression especially, which we have seen.
So then what are some of the systems that are where they're not in place but can be put in place? What are some of the things that we can do now to aid in these areas for these young men and developing men as well?
There are a lot that we can do. I do not want to speak in a way in which I want to put pressure on any of the authorities, etc. But one of the things I was looking forward to seeing with that new ministry for individuals with disabilities is to really tap into our transition and psychosocial support services for individuals. One of the things I always say is that, we have a vocational center. We train individuals, to be out there in society, but there's nothing that protects young adults so that they can say, well, you know what, 2% of all your staff shall be an individual with disabilities. There's no hope of, being able to be as independent as you want to be, a productive individual, So some of what needs to be done, sad to say, but some of it is a change in policy. Yes, we do need the recreational center. Yes, we do need, a place where they can get, that support to be with their peers. Even if it is an after-school program, there are different areas that we can look into to make it better, So, yeah, a lot needs to be done for them to be out there in society, to be independent as well, So I think we still have some discussions to have on that area.
Excellent. Well, Antonio, I don't want to take any more of your day today. Of course, you have many duties to handle. Thank you for this conversation. And hopefully this can be a dialogue that continues past right here on the screen to all the relevant authorities out there, any persons as well who can give the helping and the necessary support and so forth. All right? Thank you once again, little sister.
Hey, Salusha, what's up? It's your friendly neighbor with BweelzFit with not just a regular workout, however, I just come to I can say it, run my mouth. Run my mouth in what aspect? About you, about me, about our living, about our lifestyle. You know what days and times we're living in, and everybody's all over the place and eating what we want. Again, there really so many diseases out there. Look at a new disease come out. I can't remember the name of it. But again, it all boils down to us, how we protect ourselves. Again, the government don't have to come on the TV and tell us, wash your hands, wash your face, all these things. That's the fundamental of us living. We're supposed to do these things on a daily basis. Our eating habits, we're supposed to know how to eat properly, sleep, rest. A lot of negative things we are doing is our sleeping aspect of our lives. We're going to bed late, getting up early, getting up and the sun is already out. This is affecting us. I don't even know the word to use, how bad this is. There's a specific time we're supposed to go to bed, and also a specific time we're supposed to wake up, and that our eyes have to be in contact with the light. You understand? So we're getting sick. We're getting ourselves sick, and we don't even know that. We're going to bed at a certain time, 1 o'clock in the morning, drinking energy drinks, drinking coffee, altering our sleep pattern and methods. And all these things will create stress for us. All these things will give us cancer, depression, all these sickness, apart from the regular sickness we getting from touching places or people sneezing on us, we adding our own mental sickness to ourselves. And how can we cure our mental sickness? By our own mental focus. Taking time to breathe, relax. Take a time and smell the flowers. You understand? Take a drive down south and listen to yourself. Listen to your body. Think. What if? What if? Should I? Should I not? You understand? We're too busy in social media and letting AIs think for us. The good book said to study to show yourself approved. How many times have we taken our own book to read about something weird and to read for ourselves? You understand? We have to be knowledgeable of everything that's transpiring around us. We also have to be knowledgeable about the foods that we put in our system. What can make us, what can break us. Again, there are a lot of diets and all these things going on, taking our money. Here, I don't even sell diet plans anymore, because what may work for me may not work for you or for somebody else. I cannot tell you to do a keto plan. I cannot tell you to go on fast, because I tell you go on fast and you have stomach ulcers and you get sick because you're fasting for the wrong reasons. It's not going to work. To every action, there is a consequence. We have to know what we're about. We have only one body and we have to take care of it. Be more conscious of what we're taking in, what we're putting into our body, what we're consuming. Also, be careful what we spew out from our mouths with our tongue. Life and death is in the power of the tongue. You understand? We have no idea how powerful our tongue is. Even in a jovial manner, it can be dangerous. You understand? People, we are living perilous times, dangerous times. So, one way you can protect yourself is protecting your mindset. Make better decisions with your life, with your diet, with the people around you. It's all about you and the way you think. Again, everybody can speak to you, give you advice, but it's for you to accept it. Imagine, remember, you're going for a breakup and all your friends telling you, oh, this and that, you get all kind of advice. At the end of the day, we may not take the advice. It's us on our own for us to remain focused and take the initiative, take the step and say, it is done, it is finished. You understand? We are the protectors of ourselves. I don't know who or what you all believe in, but I know who or what I believe in, and I know what works for me. So you have to find out what works for you and put it all together for us to try to live a decent life. We are not there forever. You understand? We are not there forever. But you want the information, the wisdom and knowledge you have to pass on. Because wisdom is not for yourself. It is for it to be passed on. So the little knowledge that I have, I'm trying to pass it on. You are not being forced. Everybody have a choice. And as long as we are alive, it is a learning experience. We have a choice. You understand? Let's make the best of it and live a clean, fit, and focused lifestyle. Despite all that, if you come to the gym, whether it's BweelzFit Lifestyle or Sufre's Gym or 24 Hours or Grease Energy or Mac Mirage Gym or Goofy's Gym, whichever gym you decide to go to, let's just make it a fit and focused lifestyle. However, at BweelzFit Lifestyle, we get fit and rip even while striving. Take care.
As other people always say, all good things must come to an end, but this is not the end, because you could catch us right here, same time, same place, tomorrow morning for Wednesday, hump day. We're getting in the middle, we're almost there, guys. Of course, have an amazing day. Exercise if you haven't, drink plenty of water, all right? Mind your business while doing that as well. And catch us here once again. This is DBS this morning, of course. See you tomorrow, guys.